The air carries a faint chill today, brushing against your skin like the lightest touch of a forgotten friend. You stand beneath a canopy of trees, their branches swaying ever so slightly, letting loose a cascade of amber and crimson leaves that drift downward in slow, spiraling arcs. The soft rustle of those leaves brushing the ground fills the silence, a tender, whispering chorus that seems to hum through the stillness. Somewhere in the distance, a gentle breeze stirs the treetops, sending a faint murmur rippling through the air, like a memory calling softly from the edges of your mind. The earth beneath your feet feels cool and firm, softened by a carpet of fallen foliage, each step releasing a subtle crunch that echoes faintly before fading away. The light shifts now, filtering through the thinning branches in golden slants, warming your face for a fleeting moment before the coolness returns. You notice the texture of a single leaf caught against your shoe, its edges curling inward, delicate veins, tracing a story of seasons past. The scent of damp soil rises faintly, mingling with the crispness of autumn, grounding you here in this quiet expanse. A distant sound drifts in a low, familiar hum, perhaps the echo of laughter or a voice you once knew, hovering just beyond your grasp. It teases at your thoughts, stirring a calm curiosity that settles deep within, like a promise waiting to unfold. The leaves continue their descent, some catching briefly in the wind, their rustling a constant, soothing thread weaving through this tranquil scene. There's a heaviness you carry, isn't there? It's the kind that lingers in the quiet moments when the world slows and you're left with the weight of things unsaid. Maybe it's the frustration of a day when you bit your tongue, the words piling up like stones in your chest, sharp and unyielding. You remember how it felt to stride through life with a lighter step, back when the crisp fall air filled your lungs, and every breath seemed to sweep away the clutter. Now that ease feels distant, replaced by the ache of tasks left undone, promises you couldn't keep, or the silent sting of being misunderstood. You see it sometimes in the mirror, a flicker of the man who used to laugh without restraint, now shadowed by lines of doubt and fatigue. There was that afternoon you meant to speak up, to let the anger spill out like water from a cracked cup. But instead you turned away, the moment slipping through your fingers. The longing tugs at you still, doesn't it? For the chance to shout into the wind, to unburden yourself of the quiet regrets that knot your shoulders. And yet, woven into that ache, there's a whisper, a soft, recurring echo of something familiar, a voice or a presence brushing against your awareness, growing closer with each fleeting thought, as if it's been waiting for you to listen. It's tiring, carrying this load, like dragging a shadow through the fallen leaves. You felt the frustration simmer, bubbling up in the small things, a door that sticks, a plan that falters, a conversation that ends too soon. Each one adds to the pile, a silent chorus of what could have been. But that whisper persists, threading through the weariness, hinting at a memory just out of reach, a rustle, a step, a companion who once walked beside you, their presence a quiet promise yet to reveal itself. And then he's here, you're confident from those crisp fall days, stepping into the scene as if the wind itself carried him to you. His voice is soft, intimate, a warm murmur against the faint rustling of leaves overhead. "Hey, it's been a while," he says, and the sound wraps around you like the gentle creak of an old wooden bench you once shared. You can almost feel the worn flannel of his jacket brushing your arm, smell the faint wood smoke clinging to it from fires you sat by years ago. The air shifts, carrying the distant clink of a thermos lid unscrewed, the memory of hot coffee steaming between you as the autumn sun dipped low. He guides you back to that first walk, when the leaves crunched beneath your boots in perfect rhythm. The ground was a tapestry of gold and scarlet then, and you'd kicked at a pile just to hear the satisfying scatter, his laughter ringing out beside you, a sound that felt like home. The breeze had tugged at your hair, cool against your skin, while he pointed out a hawk circling overhead, its wings slicing through the sky. You talked for hours, your frustrations spilling out like the leaves tumbling around you, and he'd listened, steady as the earth itself, his quiet nods loosening the knots inside you. Then there's that day by the river, the water's gentle ripple mingling with the rustle of branches. You tossed pebbles into the current, each one a small release, and he'd handed you a smooth stone from his pocket, warm from his hand. "Let it go," he'd said, and you did, watching it sink as the weight in your chest eased just a little. The scent of wet moss hung in the air, grounding you, while his footsteps beside you matched your own, a companion through the fading light. Now he turns to you, his eyes catching the golden glow, and the suspense unravels. "Remember that time you thought you couldn't keep going?" he asks, voice low against the soft whisper of falling leaves. "You did. You always did. It's the moment you'd forgotten, the day you walked until the frustration melted away, the leaves crunching softly underfoot, scattering your stress with every step. He was there, steady and sure, and you were stronger than you knew. "Let it fall," he says now, his voice a gentle anchor amid the rustling leaves. "Those frustrations you've held onto, they're just leaves, ready to drift away." The words settle over you like the warmth of that long ago sun, softening the edges of your weariness. He's right beside you, his presence a quiet strength, and you feel the first stirrings of release, a loosening, like the breeze lifting a leaf from the ground. You don't have to carry it all, he continues, tender and sure. You've been strong for so long, and that's enough. He builds you up step by step. Look at what you've weathered, he says, his tone lifting like the wind through the branches. Those days you pushed through, when the world felt heavy, you kept walking. That's not weakness. That's grit, the kind that outlasts storms. The encouragement grows, wrapping around you like the faint heat of a fire's embers. You're still here, still standing, and that's a victory no one can take from you. The leaves rustle softly, a chorus to his words, and you feel your spirit rise, lighter with each breath. He pauses, then dives deeper, his voice rich with wisdom. This letting go, it's not losing, it's transforming. Like these leaves, you shed what's done, and it feeds something new. The tree doesn't mourn its fall, it trusts the cycle. You see it now, the memory of that day by the river, when you let the stone sink and felt the burden lift, the leaves crunching underfoot as you walked away unburdened. That's what you did then, he says, resolving the whisper that's followed you. You scattered your stress, and you can do it again. He expands, philosophical and vast. Time doesn't erase the frustrations, it reshapes them. What felt like a wall becomes a path if you let it. Resilience isn't loud, it's quiet, like the way these trees stand through every season. The distant murmur of the breeze returns, tying you back to that opening stillness. You're not diminished by what you release, you grow. The man you see in the mirror, he's not just the lines or the fatigue. He's the one who keeps going, who finds peace in the rustle of leaves. The comfort stretches on, a prolonged embrace. You're enough, he says, voice soft as the fatting light. Let the wind take what's heavy. Let it scatter like these leaves, soft and free. The sensory echoes ground you, the cool earth, the golden slant of sun, the faint hum of a memory now clear. Hope blooms, steady and warm, as you feel the burdens lift, carried away on the breeze. The scene softens now, the air growing still as the last leaves settle gently to the ground. Your confidence voice dips lower, a warm breath against the quiet. It's time for me to step back, he says, and you feel his presence ease away, like the slow fade of twilight over the trees. The rustling quiets, replaced by the faint trickle of a distant stream, its rhythm a tender lullaby. The golden light dims to a soft glow, brushing your skin with one final touch of warmth, while the scent of autumn, crisp and earthy, lingers in the air. He's almost gone now, but the serenity remains. The ground beneath you feels steady, the carpet of leaves a testament to what you've released. You've walked this far, he whispers, his voice blending with the breeze, and you'll keep going. The words drift away, leaving you in a vast, tranquil expanse. The trees standing tall around you like silent guardians. The coolness of the air wraps you gently, a final sensory thread tying you to this journey, from the weight you carried to the peace you found. Looking back, it's all here: the frustration you let fall, the memories that lifted you, the wisdom that settled deep. The soft rustle of autumn leaves has carried you through, scattering your stress underfoot, leaving only calm in its wake. The scene stretches out one last time, the faint sway of branches, the distant echo of a hawk's cry, the cool earth anchoring you, and you feel whole, ready to rest. Tell me of a moment that lingers in your heart. His voice calls faintly, a tender invitation as the silence grows. The leaves lie still now, the breeze a mere whisper, and you're left with a quiet smile, a sense of closure wrapping around you like a familiar coat. Take care, he murmurs, the words fatting into the air, and with one last rustle, he's gone, a soft goodbye, leaving you in peace.